Alright, today we're going to work on graphing equations and inequalities. Can someone tell me the difference between an equation and an inequality? Megan. Megan.
An equation has an equal sign.
An equation has an equal sign. What does an inequality have?
Less than, greater than sign?
Yep, there's four. There's less than, greater than,
Equal to and not equal to?
less than and equal to, and greater than and equal to. You were close. Good job. Okay, so on the front side of your little worksheet I gave you, it looks like this. We are going to work as a group, as a class, and we're going to graph these together, okay? So I'm going to use this whole graph for every single one, so don't worry about the problem that I'm on. But the first one, can someone tell me what the first two equations are?
Y equals 3x plus 1,
3x plus 1,
and y equals x minus 2.
x minus 2. Okay, so last week we learned how to graph an equation. We start with our y-intercept, which was 1. So I'm going to graph this one. And then this is our slope, so I'm going to rise 3 and go over 1. And then I'm going to use a straight edge. And I'm going to draw my line. You can use the side of your paper for a straight edge, or you can just draw a really straight line. Okay, so now I'm going to graph our next one. So for this one, our y-intercept is what? -2. And our slope is what? What's the slope if there's no number in front of x?
1.
1. So we're going to rise 1 and go over 1. Alright, so here's my graph. What does this graph tell me?
Slope.
It can if you look at the two separate ones. What does the graph tell me?
Where it intersects.
Where it intersects. And what does the intersect mean? Where they meet. And what does that mean?
That means when the equations are equal.
When the equations are equal. Specifically, it's our solution to our equation, okay? So right here is going to be our solution. So I'm going to solve this really quick. You guys watch out to see if I make a mistake, because you get a bonus point if I make a mistake. And we're going to see if our graph is right. So this one I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to do y plus 2 equals x. And then I'm going to plug this part of my equation in here, just like we did last week. So y equals 3 times y plus 2 plus 1. Y equals 3y plus 6 plus 1. So y equals 3y plus 7. And then we're going to combine our like terms, which are our y's. So it's going to be -4y equals 7. And then we divide, right? Did I make a mistake, anybody? Where?
It's not -4y. It's -2y.
-2y. Good job. -2y equals 7. And then to solve for y, we would divide -7 by -2. Does that make sense? Okay. So basically, this point in the in our graph is where x is going to equal -1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere around -4. Okay. All right. We're gonna go to the next one. Go down to number 3. The numbers kind of got a little out of order. Alright, so for number 3, this is an inequality. So, I'm going to teach you guys how to graph it. This is where you're going to need your colored pencils, okay? So for the first one, I have y is less than 2x plus 3. We're going to graph this just like we kind of would if it were a equation, okay? So the y-intercept is still the same. It's 3. And what's our slope?
2 over 1.
2 over 1. So rise 2 over 1. And we take our straight edge. Now here's what's different. For inequality, this is less than. It's not less than or equal to. So we put a dashed line. Does that make sense, everyone? Because it's not going to equal that line. It's just going to be less than that line. So you put a dashed line. I'm gonna erase because I'm bad at drawing dashed lines, so you can do it either way. And then what's our other equation, or inequality? Y is greater than or equal to x. So what's our y-intercept here?
0.
0. We rise 3 over 1. Use our straight edge. So our intersect is right here. Now here's what we're going to do. With your colored pencils, we're going to do the first one. So y is less than this dashed line, which means that all of our y's are, these could be any of our y answers, right? Because it's anything less than the dashed line. Does that make sense? Does anyone have a question about that? Okay, so what you do is you take one of your colors and you're going to shade any of these. Okay? And then for your other one, you do greater than. It's greater than or equal to. So you're going to shade anything over the greater than. I'm going to shade in another direction to show it. You guys use your colored pencils. Alright, and the part that you're shading both colors is where the your answer is going to be, okay? Because they're going to be equal. So the part where you have both colors shaded. Okay? Alright, this next word problem we're going to do, we're not going to solve it. What we're going to do is kind of highlight any of the key terms that we need from this problem, okay? So can someone read the word problem for me?
Sure. The admission fee at a small fair is $1.50 for children and $4 for adults. On a certain day, 2,200 people enter the fair and $5,050 is collected. How many children and how many adults attend?
Alright, so what do you guys think is important?
$1.50.
The $1.50, so shade that or underline it with one of your colors, because that's for the children, right? What next part?
$4.
$4. And what does that represent?
Adults.
Adults, so shade that with your other color. Just like when we go through any other problem, we shade the important parts so you know what to pull out. Alright, and then there are two other numbers that are important.
2,200.
Good job. And that's for both adults and children, right?
Indeed.
The next part?
$5,050.
Yes. And that's also for both, so you can underline it with both. Alright, so we pulled out the important information. Tomorrow what we're going to do is if you look on the back, you guys are going to work with a partner. You're going to graph, you're going to go through the word problem, pick out important stuff, and then we're going to help make equations from the information, and you're going to graph that. And then you are going to shade with your inequalities and graph one other two equations. And then you guys are going to peer check with your partners, okay? So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. All right.